Welcome back to the Crypto Alpha Network. Before we head into today's alpha, do us a huge favor by liking this video and clicking on the subscribe button. We'd love to hear from you, so don't forget to leave us your thoughts in the comments below. US May CPI, YOY, just came in at 2.4% below the expected 2.5%, and the market's initial reaction seems to be bullish. But we have more important things to look at today. With the SEC asking companies to revise their Solana ETF filings, particularly around staking, many are vocal about the potential for imminent SOL ETF approvals. If so, what's the best way to capitalize on it? How do we position ourselves? Is a Solana ETF imminent? Bitcoin ETFs saw $431.20 million in net inflows yesterday. Meanwhile, BTC has held above $100,000 for 33 consecutive days, with US demand surging as Coinbase Premium hit a 4-month high and 550,000 BTC exited exchanges. Whales aren't taking profits, and the funding heat map shows minimal froth. At the same time, Ethereum ETFs saw $125 million in net inflows as ETH moved back above its 200-day moving average. Traditional stock markets are also performing strongly. The Cobase letter notes that the S&P 500 rallied plus 20.4% over the last 41 trading sessions, while the Nasdaq 100 rose plus 27.3%, its third biggest rally since 2002. Only 2020 and 2008 saw sharper recoveries over the last 2 decades. As a result, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 are now just 2.1% and 1.8% from their all-time highs, respectively. Wall Street and crypto markets will closely watch today's CPI inflation data, forecasted at 2.5%. Truflation expects it slightly lower at 2.4%. Speaking of Wall Street, we all know it's bluntly eyeing crypto. Now we have reason to believe Solana ETFs aren't far off and may launch soon. Spot Solana ETFs could be weeks away from SEC approval, potentially including staking, similar to anticipated Ethereum ETFs. With heavyweights like VanEck, Fidelity, and Franklin Templeton in the race, this could attract billions and also pump Solana's ecosystem, especially DeFi protocols like Jito. The SEC's recent moves hint at Solana ETFs nearing approval. On June 10, 2025, they requested issuers to revise their S1 filings, focusing on in-kind redemptions and staking plans, with feedback due within 30 days. This loosely mirrors the Ethereum ETF approval process, so the SOL ETFs might not be far off. Bloomberg's Eric Balchunas and James Seyffart estimate a 90% chance of Solana ETF approval by the end of 2025, but it could come sooner, especially with the SEC under new crypto-friendly leadership. Unlike Bitcoin ETFs, Solana ETFs could offer staking rewards akin to Ethereum's model. Franklin Templeton's filing proposes a Solana ETF that stakes SOL to generate additional tokens, potentially boosting returns. This could make Solana ETFs more attractive than plain spot funds, drawing yield-seeking investors. With Solana's $86 billion market cap and estimated inflows of $2.70, $5.2 billion, JP Morgan's high-end guess, a staked ETF could drive demand for SOL, though its price, $159.88 on June 10, 2025, hasn't surged as much as some expected on the news. How much money could flow to Solana with ETF inflows? We know JP Morgan's estimate, but let's take it a step further. One of our researchers has done the maths, so we can make an educated guess on it. It is based on comparing potential SOL ETF inflows to what we saw with the ETH and BTC ETF inflows. Yesterday, we discussed decentralized finance DeFi plays. If Solana ETFs are approved, the real action might be in its DeFi ecosystem. Solana's high transactions per second and low fees make it a DeFi magnet. Protocols like Jito are already surging, with its transaction optimization tech catching institutional attention. Jito's growth, alongside Solana's 58.4 million daily transactions in Q4 2024, shows its ecosystem scalability. However, approval isn't guaranteed. The SEC still has time to rule on SOL spot ETF filings. Polymarket odds also give an 82% chance of an approval by December 2025. Overall, hype is rising not just for SOL but for altcoins in general. Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas says, "Get ready for a potential altcoin ETF summer, with Solana likely leading the way." JP Morgan predicts altcoin ETFs could see $14 billion in inflows, A Solana ETF with staking could attract institutional money like the $40 billion Bitcoin ETFs drew last year. But the bigger story might be Solana's DeFi ecosystem. With protocols like Jito poised to leverage Solana's speed and scale, investors might want to explore these projects now, before ETF hype sends them soaring. Keep an eye on Solana's price and DeFi tokens. If the SEC approves, this could be a breakout moment for SOL and its ecosystem. How do we position for the Solana ETF? So how do we position for everything that we talked about so far? Well, the most obvious plays and likely Solana projects that are built for DeFi and for staking. So let's take a look at some. Jito is pumping. It's the leading liquid staking protocol on Solana, with MEV rewards integrated. Increased SOL holdings via ETFs will drive more staking, boosting Jito's TVL and protocol revenue. It's institution-friendly, sharing MEV rewards and being non-custodial. Jito leads total value locked, TVL, on Solana. However, though TVL is up significantly, the price remains down. Jito team members also spoke at the SEC's June 9th roundtable on DeFi and the American spirit, joining other crypto leaders to shape the future of DeFi in the US. Essentially, the protocol has good metrics, and the team is well positioned. Kamino Finance, KMNO, is a DeFi protocol on Solana, unifying lending, liquidity, and leverage into a secure product suite. Some call it the Aave of Solana. Speaking of Aave, Kamino Finance generated 60% of Aave's revenue over the past 30 days. Kamino Lend is the flagship lending and borrowing product of Kamino Finance. In just under 3 weeks, Kamino Lend V2 attracted over $200 million in deposits and $80 million in borrows. In 2025, Kamino Lend accounts for a significant portion of Kamino Finance's TVL, with V2 launched May 2025. Introducing modular lending, RWA integration, and auto-yield vaults. Other Kamino Finance products like Multiply, leverage loops, and long-short market betting build on Kamino Lend's infrastructure, making it the backbone of the platform's ecosystem. Kamino Lend has also been integrated into Crypto.com. This once again points to an active team that is making the right moves. You always need one big catalyst to spark a complete shift in sentiment across the board. A Solana spot ETF approval will likely ignite the Solana ecosystem, barring any catastrophic events, that is. And it will also fuel significant speculation about which altcoin ETF might be approved next. Before you go, help us increase mass adoption and get the word out there by liking this video and clicking on that subscribe button. We'd love to hear from you, so don't forget to leave us your thoughts in the comments below. Bye for now.